Well, guys. What do we have here? Guys, this is going to be a very unique video. This is going to be a Fusion Fall Open Fusion Nano tier list. And yes, I'll just get off right off the bat. There are a lot of nanos that aren't in the game. This is the best tier list I could find for all the nanos 1 through 36 nanos, and I'm going to be ranking them. These are going to be the original 1 through 36, so Buttercup through Humongous Store. We're not going to be doing the Academy one. Well, you know what? We'll do the retro one. So Computeris, Belladonna, and Runty will be submitted, but people like the Academy ones, like Rigby, Rags, Johnny Test, Johnny Bravo, Wrath, will not be ranked. So I'm going to be doing these guys in order from 1 through 36. And yes, at this moment, as I'm recording this, I have not acquired my Humongousaur Nano. I just got done wrapping up our episode 62 of the Open Fusion Let's Play. And this is going to be right after we acquire our Humongousaur Nano. But guys, let's get right into the tier list, starting with Buttercup. Buttercup, she's the first Nano you get, and she has honestly got great powers. She comes with a scavenge power, she comes with a heal power, and she comes with a stun power. Now, you get forced into getting stun right away, which isn't horrible. You're level 1. It's nice to have a stun nano right off the bat, but I mean, she's a very underrated nano. I highly suggest you guys switch her to a scavenge early game so you guys are able to stack up on fusion matter right away. I'm gonna put Buttercup I'm gonna put her in S tier because she is very valuable for her scavenge power, and I highly suggest that you use her. I mean, I've used her a lot throughout the game. You see me use Forearms and not a whole lot of courage, but you see me use those two throughout the game a lot. So let's move on to the second nano we acquire, and that is number 2. Number 2 is a very good nano at the beginning too. You mainly for his run power. He gets speed, he gets recall, and he gets lunch money, which is a money bonus. Personally, for me, number 2 isn't a great nano. He is good at in the beginning of the game, so you can get around quicker. But his other 2 powers are weak. Now, if you're someone who likes to grind and build on the momentum, or like kind of grind the cash in the game, you want to get a lot of money, he's good. But his recall power, I don't think anyone uses recall at all, but I'm actually going to put him in the B tier just because once you hit a certain level, you're not going to need him at all. Yes, speed nanos are good in infected zones as well as jumping and glide nanos, but other than that, I see him as a B tier nano at best. Alright, moving on to the third nano we acquire, which is Eddie. Eddie has some good powers. He does have Jawbreaker Break, which is a heal power. He does have a guard power, and he has a speed power, which is a group speed. All good powers, well, specifically the speed and the heal power. The guard, I don't think you really need at the beginning of the game because you can get so many more guard powers. But just for his heal power, he is one of the quickest healers in the game. Him and number 1 have pretty good heal powers. I'm gonna put him in A tier just for the heal power. If there was a rank between A and S tier, I would put him in there. But just because of him having a guard power and a speed power, just after you get number 2, it seems pretty bad for Eddie. But his heal power is untouchable. He is by far the best healer in the game. Moving on to our 4th nano, we got Eduardo. Now, Eduardo has 2 good powers, and he has a really bad power. His 2 good powers are heal and drain. They're good. Heal and drain are good. Heal is a heal area, so you're not going to be getting as much health back as you would like, as you would get from Eddie. But his drain power is pretty good, and it's very powerful at the beginning of the game. And he has 2 great powers, and that's going to make me put him in S tier. If he had a power... I was going to say if his healing power was a self-healing power, I would definitely keep him in S. But since he has Drain, he's staying up here, and his Radar, it's okay. It's not horrible. It's okay, but I definitely think Eduardo is a good S or a good A Nano. Moving on to our 5th Nano, which is Blossom. Blossom got kind of hit with some bad power. She has Liberty Bell, which is a stun power. She's got no, Ice Breath is a stun power. Liberty Bell, which is the antidote, which is basically you can't get damaged when you walk over fusion matter. And I don't remember what her 3rd power is, but guys, honestly, I don't use Blossom that much. I always give her the stun power. I have seen people use Blossom with the antidote power when you go and fight Fuse. But honestly, guys, I'm going to have to put Blossom in the D tier. She got such a bad break just because there are such bad powers in the game. And it definitely saddens me to put Blossom there as your first past Nano you acquire. Now moving on to Wilt. Wilt is one of the worst Nanos in the game because of the powers he's got. He got a jump power and 2 snare powers. His jump power is very, very good at the beginning. Anything that can help your mobility / agility instantly makes the Nano great. But since he has such a bad group set, he can only go in B. He can only go in B just due to the fact that his other 2 powers weigh him down. And they're the same. They're snares, and really no one uses snare. Alright, now we come to Dee Dee. Dee Dee has 2 damage powers and a revival. Now, Dee Dee is a good Nano, but her powers are, I think, a damage area and a damage point. And Revive, I don't really necessarily use Revive. It's kind of pointless to me because it just buys you like a couple seconds of time. It's kind of like a recall power. Dee Dee, I'm going to have to put her in B tier. I'm going to have to put her in B tier because damage is pretty good at that point in the game. Now we move on to number 5. Number 5, automatically an S tier because she gets Leech. Leech power is by far the best power in the game because it not only damages your foe, but it takes that damage you did to the fusion and it gives it to you. So automatically an S tier just because of Leech. Her other 2 powers are Revive, so it's kind of useless when Dee Dee had to Revive. And Sneak, which Sneak is good when you're at like kind of at a lower level going into higher areas, but really it's not that good in my opinion. Moving on to Double D. Double D got messed up. His powers are Radar, Snare, and I think it's just Radar and Snare. I can't think of Double D's powers. But he's got bad powers. The only time you would really use him is if what you're doing in a Let's Play, like what I was doing, is whenever you get a new Nano type, you would throw them in. And I threw Double D in, or unless you want to do Ed, Ed, and Eddie, and that's when you throw them in. But honest to God, Double D is such a horrible Nano. And actually, I'm gonna put Blossom up there. So sorry, Double D. Going to one of my favorite Nanos, Magus. Now, Magus got dealt some bad powers. He has 2 sleep powers and he's got a stealth power. I will say, giving him stealth is pretty good when you're going to the wilds. It helps you avoid large groups of monsters, I will say. So he is good on that aspect, but I mean you only use it once, and the 2 sleep powers kind of do wear him down. I'm gonna have to put him on D tier just due to the fact that the 2 sleep powers really wreck him. I would love to put him at C, but looking at the sleep powers are basically another stun power. You just can't hit the monster after, so it's like a good getaway. You know what? I'll put him at C. I'll be generous to Magus. Now going to Billy. Billy has a good power and he has a bad power. He has a damage cone and he has inner frat boy, which is a freedom power, I believe. Now I really particularly don't like Billy as a Nano. I do think his damage is good, but I don't think it's that great. If you do use freedom, okay, I'll put him at a B just because when you get him, you will be going to Charles Darwin. If you do what I did, which is use or upgrade your nanos every time you get a new one. So when you got Magus, you would automatically get Billy, and then you would get Blue when you level up to 14, sort of thing. Or like you would move on to like the next type of nano when you level up, sort of thing. I don't know how to describe it, but he's good until you get Blue when you're in the what's the area? Oh my gosh, Habitat Homes, and a bit in the city. He's good there. Now we go to Blue. Blue has some interesting powers. He has, I believe, a bonus. No, he has a radar, a stun, and a snare. And I mean, the stun is good, but the snare wears him down. He is a favorite nano of mine. I'm going to put him up there because stun is pretty good. Stun is a good power. It's a very underrated power in my opinion. I do like stun. I like using stun to help out some fusion fights and some other fights, so it's a pretty good power. It's not great to outrank some of these other guys. It's outranking Double D though. Moving on to Bubbles. Bubbles has a jump and a damage point power. Those are the only two powers I used. You guys will slowly realize throughout this tier list I only used mainly 2 powers or 1 power. I'm gonna put Bubbles at A, just due to the fact of where you get to in the game, where you're at in the game. You're gonna need one of those 2 powers. You're gonna be using her probably in whoa. Why did we go to Bubbles? Wait. Oh, we skipped Eutonium and him, but we'll keep Bubbles up there. We gotta go do Eutonium, but yeah, Bubbles, good for jump, good for damage, whichever power you choose. She's definitely up here with Eddie. Let's go to Eutonium. Eutonium has some good powers. He has a jump, a rocket, and a damage point power. Automatically, any of those powers are good. He's A tier for sure. Now, going to him. Him has some decent powers. She has a damage area and a heal area power. And that's pretty... They're good powers. They're not bad, but they're good. I don't particularly like using him. Her heal power is pretty weak. And I sadly end up putting her in the C tier. I mean, her drain is good, yes, the heal is good, but it's not as powerful as Eduardo's, in my opinion. It's pretty weak. If you've watched my Let's Play, I don't get enough juice, enough health from her when I use her. And Bubble is automatically A tier. We've already discussed it. Now moving on to Demongo, the 16th nano you acquire. Demongo. He has an interesting power. A lot of people believe he shouldn't even have deserved a nano. Me personally thinks he does, based off how important Fusion Demongo and Demongo is to the storyline. This is mainly going towards people who have not even completed the game or have gotten close to beating the game. Demongo, I would say D tier. His damage is good. He does have a revive, but I don't remember what his 3rd power is, but I do know that it's decent. It's not spectacular, and I don't really see myself using him that much. He is a cool nano, but I don't really see myself using him that much. Moving on to Forearms. Forearms automatically S tier. He has Leech. He has Scavenge. That automatically puts you in an S tier when you got 1 or 2 of those powers. You guys saw me. I used him until I got Courage. He is a beast of a nano. He is by far he might be the best nano in the game, to be honest. He might be the best. I don't know what his 3rd power is, but he is hands down probably the best nano in the game. Moving on to number one. Number one has some pretty good powers. He has, I believe he has a revive. No. He has a bonus cash reward. He has he has a heal and he has a damage. Number 1, he's getting placed in A tier because he, like Eddie, he's the 2nd best healer in the game, but he does get a damage and it keeps him up here. It barely keeps him afloat. I would place him in front of Eddie, but he is definitely the worst A tier nano, I would say. You know what? I mean, Eduardo's good because he starts off first. You get him pretty early in the game, but we're going to keep number 1 there. Mojo Jojo. Mojo Jojo has some good powers. His drain is pretty good. But I believe he has a freedom and a guard. No. Yeah, he has a freedom and a guard power, which, if you guys have seen my Let's Play, I don't use any of them. I use, like, damage, I use drain, I use stun, I use heal, I use speed, I use jump and rocket. I use those powers. I don't use the guard or freedom or the big bucks or the recall. I'm gonna have to put him here. I don't really use him that much. He's not that great of a nano. I use him when I get him, but once I get the next B nano, I toss him aside. Mandark, he has some interesting powers. He does have a stun. He does have a jump boost. I'm actually gonna put him right here. He is the best worst B nano, just because of the jump and the stun. I do like stun a little bit more at some points in the game, but I definitely would prioritize Mandark over Mojo Jojo because he has two better powers over Mojo Jojo in my opinion. Okay. I believe Grimm is next. I believe. Yep, Grimm is next. Grimm has some good powers. He has a heal group, he has a revive group, and I believe he has a heal group. Yeah, heal group, run group, and a revive group. His healing powers aren't the best, but I'm going to keep him here in A tier. I'll move him above Bubbles, in my opinion. He's really, really good. You guys saw me use him for a while. You guys have seen me use him in the Darklands, so I have him in A tier. His healing isn't good, so that's why he's down here at A and not up here at S. Next we have Dexter. Dexter has some powers. His best power is a glide. You guys saw me use Dexter a little bit at times when I needed to use a glide nano, but he does have, I believe, a sneak and either a guard or a freedom power, so that sadly makes me put Dexter. I'm gonna put him above Mandark. Put him above Mandark. I'm actually no, I'm not really gonna go into putting who above who sort of thing. I'm just gonna put him here sort of thing. But yeah, I don't really use Dexter that much. I didn't use him that much in my Let's Play because I had to Grimm. So and I needed a heal nano for what was going on more than a rocket nano at the moment. Moving on to Vilgax. Vilgax goes into the D tier. His best power is the run, but really at this level in the game, you're gonna have a vehicle, so there's no point in having him, so he goes into D tier automatically. Swampfire, he got dealt literally the same power as Magus, sneak into sleep powers, so he gets thrown down at D tier. Although he's one of my favorite C nanos, I can't rank him above based off where you get him in the game. Sure, you could use him to sneak past monsters to get to Forsaken Valley, but after that is basically useless. You know what? Sorry, Magus, buddy. I have to throw you down here. I just have to. Even though I should rank you back up at C because you are pretty useful getting to Mount Blackhead, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. Alright, Mandy is up next. Mandy, I'm gonna have to put at D tier or C tier. She doesn't have that good of powers. I think she has a bonus power. I believe she gets a recall power and a sprint power, and I don't really use her that much, to be honest. She's not that good. But her power is a run group, and a lot of people use her. When you get deeper into the Darklands and you decide to grind with the group, people will throw her down and use Grimm sometimes, so that's why I have her in her C tier and not a D tier. Moving on to Coco. Really, the only power I use on Coco is stun. I don't like the other two powers she has. I know she has a freedom. I know she has a guard. I, honest to God, rather use other nanos besides Coco. Not one of my favorite nanos. She's one of the weirdest nanos, but her stun is pretty good. I know her stun is good. I know I said stuns are good, like with blues. but I have no stuns here. I'm going to keep her at C. Moving on to Mac. Mac, with his rocket power, is insanely good at this moment because, one, you get to go to Monkey Foothills, and he's going to be great when you go to, like, the Dark Glade in Forsaken Valley, the Dinosaur Graveyard. He is basically one of the best B Nanos you can get at this point in the game. The next two will be Hex and Ed, and those two are not good. But Mac definitely up here with the best. Moving on to our 28th Nano, and that is number 3. Number 3 has, again, like some decent powers. She has a sneak, a revive, and a heal power, but her heal power is group. I'm going to put her in B tier. I don't use her that much because when I'm using, when I get her, well, okay, once we reach level 17, Forearms stays with us a long time, and I'd much rather use Forearms over number 3, in my opinion. I think my lineup was Forearms, Mac, and Grimm at that moment. Yeah, it was Forearms, Mac, and Grimm at that moment. So I don't really use number 3 that much. Moving on to Hex. Personally, Hex was a very useful Nano to me when I originally played through the game and won the game because if you guys watched my Let's Play, I did talk about grinding in the Forsaken Valley Infected Zone to get a lot of fusion matter through the races, and Hex was on my team, and he was very helpful. So out of respect for Hex for helping me beat the game, I'll throw him in C tier. Just for that. He helped me beat the game originally. Moving on to our 30th Nano is Juniper Lee. The only power I use with her is Leech, and she is a very good Nano. As you can see, if you have Leech, you are in the S tier. Leech is by far the best power in the game, hands down. So that's why Juniper Lee is in S tier. If you're not using Leech on Juniper Lee, I suggest you use it because if you don't, I mean, look at this. Do you rather have stun or would you rather have Leech? A heal and a damage power or just a stun power? I'd rather use that in my opinion. Moving on to number 4. Number 4 I'm also going to put in S tier because he does get a drain and he does get a heal area and a revive. Those are all good powers, especially in the area you get him at in the game, level 32. No, level 31. Definitely a great Nano. I highly suggest you keep him on your team. Going on to level 33, we have our Courage Nano. Courage gets some decent powers. He does get Scavenge and he does get Heal. I believe he gets a bonus. I like how I'm saying a lot of these Nanos get bonuses, but honestly, I don't use Courage that much. Because I like using Samurai Jack as an A Nano, and it's pretty weird when I get Courage for just one level just to get rid of him right away for Jack, because I don't want to use 2 A Nanos in a C or 2 A Nanos in a B. But I am going to put him in S tier in case you didn't use Scavenge on Forearms or Buttercup. I hope you would use it on one of those two to help you reach this point in the game without having major issues. Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack, I would say, is a... that's my favorite A Nano in the game. I'm going to have to put him in A tier. His powers are a group jump and a is it a group jump? I don't know if it's a group jump or not. No, it's a solo, or it's a self jump, and he has a damage point. I don't know what his other power is. I don't really remember it. Oh no, Sacred Antidote or Sacred Guardian or something, which is an antidote power. I don't really use that to my advantage. I don't use it in the game, but I have to sadly put him in A tier. I have to, because I mean actually no, I'm gonna put him in A tier because in my Let's Play I get rid of Forearms to bring in Buttercup, and our lineup is Buttercup, Jack, and number 4. So then you still got your agility Nano, so I'm still gonna keep Jack actually on our team. for an S tier. So Jack's in the S tier. Moving on to Aku. Good old Aku, who is actually up front. Aku is a very interesting Nano, in my opinion. I'm going to have to put him in A tier. I love his stun. I love his damage. I don't like the bonus, though. But if you don't have the damage or the stun power on him, and you go for the big bucks, what are you really doing? Or the bonus, in my opinion. But I have to put him in A tier because where you get him in the game and how useful he is later on. And we skipped Ed. Good old Ed. Ed has some bad powers. He has a snare, he has a sleep, and he has a radar. Just not a good Nano. Just not a good Nano, sadly. Both of the both the Eds got screwed while Eddie got good powers. Now we move on to our final Nano, Humongosaur. Where do I put Humongosaur? I'm gonna have to put him in C. He has a snare. I think he has 2 snares and a damage area. In my opinion, those aren't great powers. I don't like using him. I'd much rather use Aku. Aku is a better C Nano than Humongosaur because he gets stun and damage, while Humongosaur gets a damage area. But sadly, Humongosaur does not make the cut. And I did say I will do the Retro Nanos, so we will move on to the first Retro Nano you are able to acquire, and that's actually the... I don't remember what this Nano was, but really, you don't do anything with it. Let's move on to Belladonna. Belladonna, she... Remembering the powers, I know she had a rocket. And I know she had a heal. Actually, I think she had pretty similar powers to Buttercup. You acquire her around, I think, level 16 or 17. And definitely, I would say I'd much rather use Belladonna over Demongo. I use Belladonna over Demongo, or I would use them over Demongo at that point in the game. Moving on to Computeris. She's also a scavenge Nano, although I would say yes, use her, or she's a S tier and A tier, but you got Forearms. Why do you need another scavenge C Nano? You got Courage later on. I don't remember what her other powers are, but I'm going to have to rank her at B. And then Runty. Runty actually is a pretty good Nano. I'm going to rank him at A, though. Guys, I'm going to be honest, since we've already gone... You know what? No, I'm not going to do this. I'd like to rank the other Nanos, just because we're right here, but everyone except this one and this one will not be in the Academy update. You got Alien X, you got Amphibian, you got Cheese, you got Chowder, you got Darwin, you got Finn, you got Flapjack, you got Gumball, Ice King, Jake, Johnny Bravo, you got Johnny Test, you got Mordecai, you got Princess Bubblegum, you got Wrath, you got Rex, you got Rigby, you got Symbiotic Titan, and Zack Saturday. Am I allowed to move these guys around? Yeah. So here's all the Nanos in the Academy update. I don't know if I can get the Gumball Nanos, so let's just quickly move them down here so we're not interfering with any other parts of the game. Is that all the Gumball Nanos? No, so let's move them there. But these Nanos right here are ones you can acquire in the Academy update through missions. The other ones, not including you. Interesting, I can't move you around. You can get these guys through missions. These ones are through weird things, and I don't suggest getting them. But yeah, guys, this is my Nano tier list for the Open Fusion server, and yes, the three we'll throw you down there because you didn't have powers. The 3 retro created Nanos that you got in the last I think month or two when the game was out. I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to this first ever tier list I've done. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, if you guys have a issue with my tier list and you guys would like me to redo it, or if you guys had your opinions on how the nanos were, if you guys think my nanos tier list is wrong, give me your opinion. Comment down below. Again, this video is being recorded right after episode 62. I'm going to be uploading this after I complete or I acquire my humongous sword nano, so pretty soon here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Again, comment down below if you guys have an issue or if you think you would rank who higher or who lower, if you would keep them the same. And guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and yeah, see y'all in the next video. Take care. Love y'all. Goodbye.